Creating a tender and juicy steak is easy using the constant flip method, and we're going to show you how it's done. So we'll get the obvious out of the way to start with. Make sure you've got a nice piece of steak. This is a 21-day aged piece of sirloin, and as you can see it's got a nice amount of marbling in it. Now you're going to create a wet rub for the steak. Take about a tablespoon of dry mixed herbs, or whichever your favourite herb is. Add to that a good pinch of sea salt flakes. Add about a teaspoon of oil to your dry ingredients and start mixing them into a paste. If you need more oil, go ahead and add it. You don't want the rub to be too dry. Keep mixing until your rub becomes consistent. Then split your rub into two separate parts. Spread one half of the rub over the area of the board. Then grab your steak and in a sweeping motion rub it through the paste. Then grab the other half of the rub and repeat the process. If there's any areas of your steak that haven't taken a rub, just use the residue that's left on the board just to give them all a bit of a herby crust. Let that rest for about half an hour, and while you're doing that, go and light up your grill. Now you could cook this in a screaming hot frying pan if you wanted to, but this is a barbecue channel, so we're going to use a plancha. Pop your plancha onto your kettle grill and let that come up to temperature for about 10 to 15 minutes. We want a cooking temperature of somewhere around 250 degrees Celsius. Once it's up to that, you're ready to go. Spray a little bit of cooking oil onto the area you're going to cook on. You don't need to coat the whole plate. Then pop your steak onto the hot plancha. Now you're going to flip this steak every 10 seconds, and there is a very good reason for doing so. Think back to the last time you pan-seared a steak. You probably cooked it for 3 to 4 minutes each side. And just before you're about to make that first flip, all the juices have started to well up on the top of the steak. That's because the searing hot heat on the bottom of the pan is forcing all the juice up the steak and out of the top. And what happens when you flip that? You lose all that juice. So by flipping your steak every 10 seconds, you're constantly searing both sides. The juice has got nowhere to go, so you're going to have a juicier steak. Because the plancha is so hot, you're still going to get that char that you want, but all that juice is trapped inside the steak. We got our plancha from a UK company called Smoke Rig Barbecue, and I'll leave the link to their website in the description down below. So we'll show you how to test the doneness of your steak without using a thermometer. With an open palm, push the muscle just underneath your thumb. That's what raw meat should feel like. Then bring your index finger to your thumb. That's what rare meat should feel like. Then by moving your little finger away, that should designate a medium rare steak. By bringing your ring finger to your thumb, that should be what a medium steak feels like. And lastly, by bringing your little finger to your thumb, that's what a well done or cremated steak should feel like. So now you know how to check what state your steak is at. Don't be afraid to tap the top of your meat every few seconds. It will cook pretty quickly. So we've now been cooking this steak for about 4 minutes and it's getting pretty close to where we want it to be. At this point you want to sear your edges, just gives you a bit more of that tasty char. and it gives you an opportunity to hear that lovely sizzle. You don't need to take too long over this, just a few seconds on each side will be fine. Now your steak's where you want it to be, it's time to rest it. Resting the steak helps it to relax and become more tender. So take a doubled over piece of tin foil, place the steak in the centre of it and wrap it up tight like a parcel. You should let your steak rest for about 5 minutes. Don't worry, it's not going to go cold wrapped in that tin foil. So after your resting time is up, you should have a beautiful charred and juicy steak. Now we like our steak quite close to rare, but cook it to your own taste. Let me just cut into that for you. Nobody's going to judge you if you're now licking your screen. Well, if you've enjoyed this video, please give us a click on the like button, leave us a comment down below and subscribe for more great barbecue videos. Thanks for watching.